cleaned and delivered. And your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
He steps to the mic with a boom, ping, ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, all the airwaves king. Shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, all the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping, like a heartbeat's call. He's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Friday, May 15th, 2026. I will not be here next week. So Monday through Friday of next week. So that would be May 18th through May 22nd. I will not be broadcasting live in this studio as I am beginning my transition to work for the Milwaukee Black Media Trust, which I'm sure some of you have been made aware of. 1017 The Truth was purchased by the Black Media Trust, and we will be under the umbrella with WNOV 860 AM and 106.5 FM and the Milwaukee Courier newspaper. Now, here's where it gets slightly confusing, and I want to clear this up. We will still be broadcasting from this studio until new and suitable space will be found. I would love to give you the details of the lineup, the rundown of the hosts and the shows, but I can't because it's still a fluid situation. So you're not going to see me here in this studio next week, but I will be broadcasting from my YouTube channel, which is Hughes Views 414. I'm basically using my last vacation days that I have here with GKB because come May 26th, which is a Tuesday, I will no longer be a Good Karma Brands employee. I will be, God willing, an employee of the Milwaukee Black Media Trust. So I'm taking my vacation time, and there's a whole bunch of things that I want to get sorted out and squared away, and time off is always good. Got some work that I want to do that I often and typically can't get done in the mornings because I am involved in a few other professional endeavors. I'm going to hold some meetings. I'm going to attend some meetings. There's some strategy sessions. I got to try and figure out the direction for us as a community, as a city, how we're going to move into these midterm elections. So meeting with a bunch of people and going to spend some time with my mother. Might shoot up to Appleton to my absolute favorite Italian restaurant called Victoria's. If you ever hear me say that I'm going to Victoria's, I'm probably not talking about a woman. I'm talking about the finest Italian restaurant that I believe is on this side of the Mediterranean Sea. So no, I will not be here next week, but I will likely broadcast from my YouTube channel just to kind of keep people abreast of what's going on. And also by next week, I'm hoping that we will have more details on what our lineup is going to look like. Here's the thing. We're still going to be 1017 The Truth. We're still going to be here in this studio, but we're going to be working for a different company. So once we actually get into the flow of, it's going to look different. I'm going to tell you that right now. And the radio station is going to sound different. Not better or worse, but I think it's going to reflect the new ownership and the new branding. And I'm going to try and go into this thing as optimistically as I possibly can. That's the only thing that I can do to make sure that things go and transition smoothly. And I guess that's all we can hope for. I did a couple of segments on our morning show with Homer and Dame Elsie to also let folks know that listen to that program, that this will be my last week here. I think Dame announced when his last day was. You're going to start hearing from individual hosts. I don't want to jump the gun. I want to let them tell you on their time when their last days as Good Karma Brands employees will be. I think I may have jumped the gun a little bit. Well, Tori said his goodbye like a week ago, so he might have jumped the gun on himself. But I think there's other information and some new additions that you're going to hear as well. So I'm trying to be optimistic about it, but, you know, change is one of those things. It's inevitable and it's always inconvenient. When we first started our first launch of 1017 The Truth, we were in a different building, in a different part of town, and had no idea how this thing would even work. Of the people that were here at Good Karma Brands, 1017 The Truth, broadcasting from East Capitol Drive, the only individuals that are, as far as on-air hosts, the only folks that were there on that very first day, January 4th, 2021, that are still here today is just me and Tori. So Dr. Ken, if you guys recall, wasn't here the first 2 weeks of our launch. Our morning show then was 3 hours. We have a 2-hour morning show now. But those hosts were Joe Brown and Melanie Ricks. They were from 7 until 10 a.m. I was 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. Tori Lowe was 1 to 4, and Dr. Ken was 4 to 6. So in all of the changes, and you guys have heard different people and different hosts, there's been different shows, there's been different producers. The only folks whose time slots have stayed the same have been Tori and Dr. Ken, because I was 10 to 1, and then we used to have a morning show that was 3 hours. So they took an hour off of the morning show. So then the morning show went from 7 until 9. Then I started an hour earlier from 9 until noon. And then that hour that we took off the morning show created what is now Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. So we've had some changes. All in all, the run with Good Karma Brands has been eventful, to say the least. Not necessarily bad, not good, just new. The thing about working in this business is someone's going to buy, someone's going to sell, someone's going to be here today, gone tomorrow. That's just what it is. And here's the problem with it, and why I think it gets more difficult the longer you are involved in this business, whether it's media here or media somewhere else. Like if you look at even our television broadcasters, whoever is on channel 4, 6, 12, and 58, say during the morning television news, 3 years ago, it was all different people. It was all different anchors. 5 years ago, it was all different anchors. And I know that because our sister station, TMJ 620, they have hired at least 4 television anchors that went from broadcasting morning and afternoon news on TV, and they now have made the way over to radio. A little insider information here. You can make way more money doing radio than you can TV, but don't tell anybody that I told you that. The change is pretty consistent. The problem is just when things are going okay, you know, you may have a flow and a rhythm to your show and all the other hosts. Everybody is clicking, things are getting along, and everything is just normal. It's stable, it's predictable, because that is something I attempt, sometimes with varying results, to provide to the people who choose to listen to me, who choose to listen to us. Is be consistent. Be here as many days as you possibly can. Start on time every single day and provide consistent, reliable information and editorial and thoughtful commentary. And just when things are going consistently, boom, there's a sale, there's a merger, there's a personnel change. And that's what gets a little harder to get used to as you get older, because I'm an old man now. I don't like all these changes. I don't like nothing switching up on me. I want something to be regular and consistent, almost to the point where it's damn near boring. But at least we have that predictable, consistent, boring thing, because the rest of the world is spinning out of control. So, not here next week. I will be back in this studio, assuming everything goes okay. Like, so many things are changing, ladies and gentlemen, from one moment to the next. We're getting new information about this and about that. So it's a very fluid situation. But with the understanding that I have currently, I will be back in this studio on Tuesday, May 26th, as Monday, May 25th is Memorial Day. So, but in the interim, I'll be broadcasting from my YouTube channel, which is Hughes Views 414. I probably will not be doing a 3-hour show every day, but I will try to come on at 9 a.m. and do, I don't know, an hour, half hour. We'll see how it goes. And what I'll do over there is I will keep people up to date and informed on what the new Black Media Trust is going to provide. And I really do hope that we do that. We provide information, we provide news, we answer questions. And with the information that we provide you, I want us to all be able to move forward in a very positive direction. So I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I want to refer to a comment that Linda, Miss Shaq, that lady that when she calls in, she makes the entire city think that we're dating. You know, that lady. She posted a comment in our Facebook group, because we have a Facebook group that corresponds to this broadcast. It's also Hughes Views 414 on Facebook. And the question, or I guess the statement that she proposed, is one that I hear all the time. And it's concerning the African-American community, and maybe it's the high rates of poverty or the low rates of employment. And there's always a real quick response to that. You'll hear somebody say, this is what we need in the Black community. We need high-paying jobs. We need affordable health care, whatever the case may be. And those things don't happen. And when we come up with a very simple, request of what we need to make the community better, stronger, safer, those requests are not answered. And then we blame it on the elected officials. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a break, like I said before. Come back, read Linda's comment, and I'm going to give you more details as to why what we think we need and what we want and what we desire for a better community just doesn't ever come to fruition, no matter how many times you ask for it. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on May 19th.
Fly ball center field. It's hit well. Grisham back. It is gone!
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Chicago Cubs.
Got him swinging. Threw him a curveball. It's 11 Ks for Mizorowski.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Delta Dental of Wisconsin. Tune in May 19th at 6:40 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your family's tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Took time, I had to breathe.
Let me tell you, this new Chris Brown album, fire. I'm about 19 tracks into the 27-track album. I have not heard a bad song yet. This is that old school fall in love, be in love, make love, 90s flavored R&B that I think the music industry and the world needs right now. Aside from whatever personal shortcomings Breezy may have, that don't make no difference to me. I'm not all up in that man's personal life. I don't care what he got going on. I ain't got nothing to do with me. I like the man's music, and I have since he first burst onto the scene in the early 2000s. So the album, titled Brown, is available everywhere. I will be listening to it continuously on my rotation via Spotify. We're going to talk about the data center, which really isn't a data center. I think people ran with a frightening narrative and got a whole bunch of people scared. It's not. There's the thing that they're building or potentially building in the Walmart area at Midtown is 46,000 square feet, and it's just like, it's not an AI. It's a data storage place, like a bunch of servers, and it doesn't run. It's not going to take all the water. It runs on regular roof-mounted AC units, and it's only 46,000 square feet. So it is not the boogeyman of AI data centers, which we should have known anyway, because AI data centers are typically built much closer to large bodies of water. In fact, Potawatomi has something very similar on 31st and Highland, and nobody even cares. There's like 24 of these things that exist in southeastern Wisconsin. So these are not AI data centers, because businesses and companies, they need places like servers where they store all their secure information, transaction information, security camera footage. I'm thinking it's going to be something like this, but everybody is just so paranoid nowadays that the worst possible thing is always going to happen at any moment. And I totally get why people feel like that. This has become an exceptionally unpredictable world. And speaking of such, our YouTube poll of the day: do you believe that Donald Trump is going to interfere with the midterm elections based on what you know, what you think, and how you feel, keeping in mind that the FBI showed up at a Milwaukee County election official's office to inquire about what? The 2020 election. Now, let's not fall for the banana in the tailpipe. The 2020 election has not only been litigated exhaustively, the person that was elected in November of 2020 served a full, uninterrupted 4-year term, and they are no longer in office. So let's just say, let me humor you for a moment and say, yep, Joe Biden stole the 2020 election. And I'm basing that off of the fact that the people that believe that are dumb, don't know how mail works, and also don't know math, which, as far-fetched as that may sound, actually might be the case. Have you seen some of the statistics of the children coming out of public school systems nowadays? They don't know math. They really don't. They legitimately don't know simple math. So anyways, the 2020 election has come, it's gone. The person that served is no longer in office. And so even if there was fraud, like what are you going to do? Say that Joe Biden wasn't president for 4 years? It's insane. They are trying to intimidate people. That's exactly what this is. And so knowing some of the strategies that the Trump administration is going to do to scare people from voting, do you think that they will take it a step further? I know this much. I'm undeterred. I dare them to come to my polling location. Well, let me take that back. Because the last time I tried to vote, we voted in April for the state Supreme Court race. My polling location wasn't even open. So that was a problem. It opened eventually. It was just late. I am more concerned about our local Milwaukee city government, them executing the election without a hitch. I'm not worried about, dude. I really am not. I've known white men like him my whole life. He's not new. And to some people that are listening, you're married to a Trump. Some of y'all, Trump is your uncle or a very familiar commodity in your life. So I'm not scared of you, but I am concerned that there are some people who could potentially be intimidated. So let me table that for a second. Let me bring things back home to the city of Milwaukee and some of the despair that we see. We are an exceptionally poor community. We're a poor city. We're definitely in the top 10 when it comes to the poorest cities in the country. We can attribute a whole bunch of factors to that. What we used to be when we were one of the wealthiest and largest cities in the country, that manufacturing core, it's gone and it wasn't really replaced adequately. And there's a whole bunch of reasons for that too. And I'm not just going to oversimplify it and say, oh, a whole bunch of people are racist. When we had jobs, when we had money, when we had safe communities, people were, I would argue, even more racist then. Y'all may think that they're more racist now. No, there's more laws on the books that protect from some of the worst impulses of racism. Back then, there was no laws, and we still found a way to be reasonably successful. But what the American economy, what it was at one point in time, it is not that anymore. How we got the American economy to where there was awful governance, because we've always had lackluster elected officials, but people were gainfully employed, making decent wages. And the wages back then weren't because the government said, no, you're going to pay all these factory workers in Milwaukee in 1962 $6 an hour. No, it had nothing to do with that. War was the reason why cities like Milwaukee were so incredibly successful, at least when it comes to employment. Now, housing and housing segregation and denying people mortgages in suburban communities, that's different. But, I don't even know if that was the biggest priority for most of our community. It only became a priority or a problem when we couldn't live and rent where we wanted to because Milwaukee was starting to get very crowded. I don't know what the population of this city is because since I started this broadcast this morning, I'm sure somebody else has moved out. 73,000 people. The city of Milwaukee used to have almost 750,000 people. I don't even know where 750,000 people would fit in this city right now, because right now it seems quite crowded. But we have lost like 200,000 people in population. Milwaukee at one point in time was the 11th largest city in the country. That don't even make no damn sense. Most of Western Europe was destroyed during World War II. And two cities in Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, were literally glowing in the dark because we dropped that hot one on them. Okay? They weren't producing anything. Where the world was producing lots of finished goods, those nations were destroyed. The United States manufacturing infrastructure was completely intact. So if anybody needed anything made, built, assembled, or manufactured, they got it from us. And not just us, the United States, they got it from industrial plants in Chicago, in Milwaukee. If you needed a car, Detroit used to have 40 different car companies because they had to produce vehicles damn near for the entire world. All that is gone. When Europe started to rebuild and the fallouts and radioactive particles settled in Japan, they started manufacturing again with newer equipment because they had to rebuild everything. So now there's global competition. And then, of course, Americans favor lower prices. So if we can buy the foreign-made good for cheaper, absolutely. There's a period of time where if you drove a Japanese car, it was an embarrassment and people would make fun of you. Kind of like if you drive a certain American car now, a Tesla. And yes, the Tesla's an American car. A Tesla is more American than your Ford or your Chevy. Them things is made in the Mexicos and the Canadas. Nobody drove foreign cars. I bet half of you listening right now either own or have owned a Hyundai, a Kia, a Subaru, a Toyota, BMW, Audi, et cetera, et cetera. That is why war is good economics. If there's another country that's producing a lot of things, producing a lot of goods, all you got to do is take out their ability to produce, and they won't be able to offer finished goods on the market. Right now, that would be China. China's got a huge workforce. But we can't bomb it because China has nuclear weapons. So the reason why we had such a fantastic economy, especially in Milwaukee, why we had so many jobs, why so many black men were gainfully employed, is because the world was getting its manufactured goods and its beer from us. Like 2 or 3 of the largest breweries, either in America or on the planet, were right here in Milwaukee. All that stuff is gone now because the world and the economy changed. And so here's what I often hear, and relates to the comment that Linda posted in our Facebook group, Hughes Views. We need to bring those jobs back. We need high-paying jobs. And I don't disagree with that, but here's the problem. People have been saying that for a very long time. Since deindustrialization, the community, the voters, everyone has been saying we need to bring these manufacturing jobs back to Milwaukee. That premise on its face is outdated. It's too expensive to manufacture anything with American labor, and whatever that thing is that is manufactured with American labor, it is going to be more expensive than something that is manufactured overseas where they pay people a hell of a lot less. And you can't just sell something because it's American-made. The American-made 6-pack of tube socks might cost $15.99. The foreign-made 6-pack of tube socks may cost $2.99. Very few people are going to say, you know what, let me spend, 500% more on these American-made tube socks because I'm going to help keep my fellow Americans employed and make sure they have good benefits and make sure they have fantastic wages. Ain't nobody doing that. You know that. Just like having an American flag on a product is not a selling point, the same way that, I'm a black-owned business, that's not a selling point either. Quite honestly, I wish y'all would stop leaning on that. Be a good business that has good quality, good price, and good service, and really nobody cares the race of the owner. I wish we could kind of start moving in that direction. Linda says it's a hard call for Black Milwaukee when our communities need economic recovery and growth, starting with solid, high-paying, futuristic jobs that covers the basic necessities to live. I don't disagree with that. Here's the problem. Do you know what kind of skill set you have to have in this modern day and age? Do you know like the education that you have to have and the hard skills and the soft skills that you have to have? No employer, none, that could offer the kind of jobs. And Linda's not the only one that thinks this way. I've heard this comment. I get it once a week. Sherwin, we need better jobs here. We need high-paying jobs. I don't disagree with that. We don't have the workforce. And I'm just trying to make people understand, if you have a public school system that is churning out people that can't read and can't do proficient math, exactly how far do you think they're going to go in the professional world? You got to be realistic about that. But what will happen is this. Milwaukee will make a deal. We'll give away some land. We'll use tax incremental financing. A company will come here. A business will come here. Maybe they locate in the outskirts of the city. Maybe they locate somewhere downtown, and they will be looking for people that they can pay really high wages, 50, 60, 70, 80, six-figure incomes. Absolutely fantastic benefits, great retirement plan. Those jobs will come because if the economy dictates that those kinds of companies and employers can expand, I promise you they will. They're just not going to be able to hire us. And so when we ask for those jobs, they're going to come whether you ask for them or not, because the overall economy is going to dictate what companies and what corporations can expand. And why not expand in Milwaukee? Beautiful place, near a lake, near Chicago. Winters aren't exactly perfect. Real estate is relatively cheap. Great place to locate, right? Our taxes may be high, but they're a hell of a lot lower than, say, California or New York or even Illinois. Why not? The jobs will come. The companies will come. The corporations will come. They'll hire, but the people that they employ will not be from here. They'll be from elsewhere. They'll be from surrounding areas and surrounding suburbs. Basically, gentrification is on a platter. Because if we don't have the education and the skill set needed for 21st century jobs, and I'm going to give you some details of what those skill sets are so you have an actual reference of how far behind most people in our community are. We can ask for the jobs will come, but we will not be qualified to get those jobs because the skill sets those jobs need, and they're going to pay you good, that's the thing. They're going to pay you real good, but we don't have the skill set. But somebody who lives elsewhere in a different county, maybe in Washington County or Dodge County or Waukesha County or Ozaukee County, and God forbid, Racine. You know what? Racine people, you need to get different license plates so I can identify you. It's not fair that you just have a regular Wisconsin license plate. You know how I feel about you. Got an inbox message. They're trying to get me to host a housing fair, some event in Racine. Sound like a setup to me. I think I'm going to be Charlie Kirk if I do that damn thing the way I talk about Racine. I don't know why they want to invite me to be at their housing fair, housing resource fair. I don't know what y'all trying to do to me. People from elsewhere will take the jobs that will be created in Milwaukee, and then eventually they're going to move from elsewhere to here. And they're going to buy houses. And they're going to pay market rate for those houses. And that's going to drive up the cost of real estate all over the city. And then your property taxes are going to go up because the overall value of the property in Milwaukee is going to go up. And people that have owned their homes for 30 years and 40 years and 50 years who are on fixed incomes who can't afford even the slightest property tax increase will get displaced, and that's going to put more houses on the market. So we got to be careful. When we ask for the high-tech futuristic jobs to come, they'll come. We won't necessarily be qualified to get them. Somebody else will fill those jobs, and then they're going to move here and push the rest of us out. And so if we want those kinds of jobs, which I think would be a fair thing to request, you also can't be afraid of data centers coming in, because we can't be stuck in some old school 20th century simplistic idea of employment. That's never coming back. Who wants to work in a factory? Even when people worked in factories, wasn't nobody going to work every morning. Oh my God, I love going to the factory. Nobody liked that kind of work. I'm going to take a break, come back. I'm going to provide the skill set that is needed to take advantage of not just jobs right now, because screw right now, I'm talking about in the coming decade. And where our school system is failing, it's not just in the output, because that's a complicated formula as well, just blaming the school system. It's a lot more than that. If we know what the skill sets are, and we do, for what people are going to need to be gainfully employed in the decades to come, that is the curriculum that needs to be in the schools. Otherwise, what are we training these kids for? Milwaukee used to be really, really good at preparing MPS students for the jobs and economic opportunities that were available in the city of Milwaukee. When you had a Bradley Tech High School, that's because we had all these trade jobs and manufacturing jobs right here in the city. So MPS prepared you to work in your own hometown. I don't know what they're preparing you for now. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
The Crew take on the Dodgers Friday, May 22nd through Sunday the 24th. Join Boy Band Night on Friday the 22nd, presented by Wintrust. Grab a theme night ticket for a Brew Crew Boys t-shirt and stay for post-game fireworks presented by T-Mobile. Then on Saturday, the first 25,000 fans collect a patriotic Brewers hat. Close it out with Family Sunday fun as the first 5,000 kids 14 and under get a Brewers pennant on the 24th, courtesy of Joy. Grab your seats at brewers.com.
Do you hear that? And that? And that? Those are the sounds of a healthy and vibrant community. And to this United Way volunteer, nothing sounds better. They're the sounds of children being given greater chances to succeed in school. The sounds of neighbors receiving the support needed to overcome challenges, both big and small. They're the sounds of families gaining access to quality healthcare and nutritious food for their tables. And they're the sounds of members of our community who've benefited from United Way's financial education programs. See, wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. People working together to respond and growing the good for everyone. United is the way. So join us by getting involved or giving back. Learn more at unitedway.org.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I am not here next week as I'm taking my remaining vacation days as a Good Karma Brands employee. I'll still be around, though. You know what I need to do next week? I need to pop on Kyle's show, Dr. Ken's show, and Tori's show if I can. If they'll have me. I was on the morning show this morning. I'd like to reminisce with my colleagues as we are going through a pretty significant transition. In fact, the transition that we are going through is as, if not more, significant than the transition that began 1017 The Truth. So we are going to be a part of the Milwaukee Black Media Trust. It's an ambitious set of ideas to combine all black media under one roof. Here's what I hope. I just hope that we can get along. On paper, yeah, it might be probably a better idea. But personalities can be a mother father. I tell you what. So, we'll see. I'll go into it optimistic. I'll be back in this studio, which is insane. I'll be working for a different company. Does that ever happen? Where you no longer work for a company, you go and work for a different company, but everything from the original company stays the same? Like, I'm going to be sitting in this exact same seat. Same microphone, same studio. I don't know who the hell going to be in the producer studio. I'm not sure about that yet, but I guess we'll all find that out at the same time. The skill sets that young people need to be successful in the future, I don't know if that is a universal part of the curriculum, because in our very thorough and sometimes complicated and difficult discussions about education and education funding, like a lot of these gubernatorial candidates are going to talk about the funding flaw and we got to fund public education. Okay, cool. But what kind of education are we providing to the young people? I don't hear any of them say this very basic, simple thing. And it's not just for Milwaukee students, it's students all over the state of Wisconsin. However we fund the schools is up to people that make those kinds of decisions. They're elected to make those kinds of decisions, and I trust they will do their level best to execute those good decisions. But are we preparing young people for the world of work in the future? Or are we still preparing them to shut up, sit down, be on time? Because that's training somebody for factory work. We have a problem with truancy. And when I interviewed the superintendent, Brenda Caselius, I don't know, like a month ago, she made it clear. Now, she had her remarks prepared because there's certain things that she's got to get out to the public, certain things that we all may not know about what is happening inside the school district, things that don't make the news. And so she wanted to make sure she got that information out. But aside from the information that she wanted to share with us, she said it clear, plain as day. We have a truancy problem, and the children, and they're late all the time, and the kids don't get to school. Okay, I get it. I can give a whole bunch of excuses as to why a child might be late or why they may not come to school at all. But if I look at it from a different perspective, the creative free thinker, the entrepreneur that has to think unconventionally and outside of the box may have a different concept of time. They may have an idea and creative sparks where they know what the idea is and they're starting to put together the building blocks of how to bring an idea to fruition. It could be a new product, it could be a new service, it could be business to business consulting, whatever the hell it is. They're not going to say, I need to begin thinking and writing things down at exactly 9 o'clock sharp. They're going to say, okay, here's my idea. I'm going to sketch out some of my concepts. I want to get it done this week. Or I need to get it done by the end of the day or by Tuesday. So if we focus on time and being on time, like that was really, really important when you had to, when the assembly line started at 9 a.m. sharp, you had to be there to put the bottles on the beer. You had to be very strict about time. And of course, there's a lot of discipline. Because if you have a lot of people working in a factory or working in manufacturing, everybody's got to have a level of discipline and you got to be on time. I think that we are still covertly training people to be factory workers when we need to start exploiting people's natural creative proclivities. Because that kind of work and that kind of strict adherence to time, now it's also smart and courteous to be on time, but the kind of creativity that we are going to need into the future, it's more about get the project done, get the task done. Give me my deadline. Tell me when this work needs to be done. If I can get it done today, cool, I'll get it done today. But if the task, whatever it is, the product, the service that I'm creating and building and going to distribute, if I need the week, then I need the week, but then the product or the service will be delivered. And so we have to look at the whole concept of even like the soft skills differently. Because right now, I don't believe that our young people, and this sells all of us short, because if they're not getting the skill sets that they need to take advantage of future employment, then when we need a generation of people to be gainfully employed and paying into Social Security, assuming that Social Security even survives, we're screwing up and messing up our own futures, especially those of us that might want to retire one day. I don't even know what retirement even looks like. But if we are not training the young people now and giving them the necessary tools they need to take advantage of. You think AI is a problem now. By the year 2040, we won't recognize anything. The labor market over the next decade will likely reward people who can do 3 things simultaneously. I'm going to give you those three things. I'm going to take a little pause for the cause. 1, work effectively with AI and automation. That's number 1. Number 2, solve problems AI cannot, and be able to solve those problems reliably and by yourself. And 3, deliver high-value human interaction in a service-based economy. Have you all seen the decline of customer service over the years? At some point, that decline is going to have to reverse, because the kind of world and the kind of economy that we are going to have is really going to depend on the face-to-face, gentle, nice, easy transactions when we're dealing with people face-to-face. Because guess what? If you're not providing that kind of service, your ass is going to get replaced with a machine. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com. Come in with straight truth.
Did you go along with this? Did you plot this out? Did you go into the store with the intentions of causing a negative situation? This is the part that people don't like once they get into court after they get caught. Now, should he be executed for killing somebody he didn't do? I don't think so. He's already serving life. He's going to die in prison. I think that's what's going to happen. At the same time, this is a message to the younger folks.
Catch the Tory Lowe Show every weekday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
You asked, and it's back. The original Cubano fan favorite has returned to Cousin Subs. And if you know, you know. It starts with tender pulled pork, our original recipe, and layers in savory ham, Genoa salami, and melty Swiss, grilled together for that hot, craveable bite. Then topped with fresh onions, tomatoes, pickles, and brown mustard and mayo, all on our signature bread. It's the fan favorite you've been waiting for. The Cubano, back at Cousin Subs, but only for a limited time. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 101.7 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about 4 walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your family's tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
The evidence increasingly suggests that the highest earners will not necessarily be the best coders or the most credentialed workers. They will be the people who combine technical fluency with judgment, communication, adaptability, and leadership. Rhetorical question coming your way in 3, 2, 1. Is that a universal part of public and private and charter school curricula? Technical fluency with judgment, communication, adaptability, and leadership. All of those things can be in a school curriculum in every grade in an age-appropriate way. Let's talk to Andy. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Yeah, I listen. I'm on the road, but I just heard. Are you leaving the station? What the heck is going on?
The station has been sold to the Milwaukee Black Media Trust, but the Milwaukee Black Media Trust that has purchased 101.7 The Truth is still going to operate out of these studios, so you will still hear me. I'll still be in the same location until further notice. I'm just not going to be here next week as I'm taking my remaining vacation days as a Good Karma Brands employee. Does that make sense? Because I feel like I've said that a million times and everybody's like, Sherwin, you're leaving and never coming back? No. I'll be back Tuesday the 26th in the same place. Just I'll have a different boss.
I don't mean to raise the alarm bells, but I don't like the sound of this. And you let me know. I'll come down with a sign and I'll raise hell. I will raise hell.
Don't do that. What would you raise hell about? Nothing's, as far as the listener is concerned, nothing's going to change. I'm still going to be out at the same time. I'm going to say it's probably some of the same usual topics you expect. It's just we have been purchased. It happens all the time in media. Stations get bought and sold every day.
So what you're saying is you're pulling back the curtain a little bit, and that's gonna. I don't know. I don't like what I see though. I don't like what I'm hearing. But okay, if you say it's all good, then I'll put away my markers.
Yeah, don't come down here. That's not necessary. No, don't do that.
Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt the show, but that last caller said something about you putting on a bonnet and then you're leaving, and I was like, what the heck's going on? And I didn't like that at all.
Okay. Everything's fine. All right.
Okay, then. I don't want to interrupt your show. I feel like I did. You carry on, sir.
A little bit. Okay. All right then. What last caller? Wasn't he the first call today? Did somebody else call? Okay, what's happening? What is the moon full? Like, what is going on? Is there any part of what I've said that has been unclear? I'm just not going to be here next week. I'm going to broadcast from my YouTube channel. I'm using my vacation days. I'm a Good Karma Brands employee right now. Next week would be my last week as a Good Karma Brands employee. I'm using my accrued vacation time. I'm not going to be here in the studio. I will come back to this same studio as an employee of the Milwaukee Black Media Trust. I'm fairly certain I can say that with a reasonable level of confidence, but I'm still going to be on 101.7. The YouTube is going to be the same. All the social medias are going to be the same. Everything is going to be the same. Everybody relax. And as things change and information gets updated, I'll keep you posted over at Hughes Views 414 on YouTube. I just won't be here next week. Everybody else will be here. Maybe they won't. I don't know. Why are you asking me all these questions? I'm just a humble servant of the Lord. AI literacy and human AI collaboration. As much as we are resisting AI and as much as you hate it, because people always hate new technology, because you want to know why people hate new stuff? Or I can speak for myself. Whenever something changes, because that means we might have to learn, and that sucks. Oh, man, I hate having to learn something new. That's awful. That's the worst thing ever. Learning is yuck. It's icky. That's what it is. We don't want to learn anything new. We just got used to how things were. And just when you're getting used to and you hit your stride, that's when everything changes. And I'm starting to see the trepidation now. So the AI data centers, of course, there's some environmental risk when it comes to those. But this is literally where the world is going. If you read any timely articles or periodicals from other major monumental shifts in the American workforce and American culture. So the automobile, beautiful example. So we were a horse and buggy country. People had horses. Horses pulled stuff. Horses and donkeys, they plowed the fields. That was a large part of American transportation and labor. And so when the first automobile started to appear, do you know that people sounded the exact same way? Those things won't last. Automobiles? Well, that's simply ridiculous. Who's going to pay for something like that? I'm going to stick with my horse. There were literally people that said the automobile would not last because they didn't want to have to get used to operating a different mode of transportation. So every time there's a new technology, there's always people that resist it. And I understand we don't want to have to adapt to something new, but if you are unable to adapt to these new technologies, obviously no one is going to make you, but your economic future is going to be tied into how quickly you accept them and be able to manipulate them to your favor. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 2.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. He's the voice for the people and the community's connection to change.
So I was shocked that they let an advocate get on the air. Because I was like, man, do y'all really want to know what's really going on out here in these streets? I wish I could have a whole show that y'all could listen to every phone call that come to my. I could do a whole show on my voice message. Just people calling, talking about what's happening. Just off the voice message, y'all wouldn't even believe what I got in my voice message. If I'm gonna start a podcast after show, I'm gonna let y'all hear the raw material because we can't even play it on the air. That's how real it is out here. That's why I ain't got time for all y'all all that extra stuff that y'all be trying to do. I'm just happy that we're able to have these great, powerful conversations. But I'm going to always remind y'all that we got to still get out here and get to work.
The Tory Lowe Show, weekdays from 1 to 4 p.m. Live on YouTube and right here on 1017 The Truth.
As parents, we have a million things running through our minds. Playdates, checkups, groceries, laundry, diapers, work, carpool schedules, picture day, swim team, did we mention diapers, birthday parties, meal prep, lost permission slips, dentist appointments, and the dog that still needs to be walked. So it's easy to make a mistake. Oh, I forgot birthday candles. Sit tight, hon, I'll be right back. We say we'd never put our kids in danger by leaving them in the car alone. Oh, wait, since when are candles not on the baking aisle? But never happens. And temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you, and every time you park the car, stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When I was diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma, I had so many questions. I didn't even know that it was cancer. Now I do. It is cancer. Blood cancer. It's actually one of more than 100 different types, and they're all treated differently. Now, unlike some other forms of cancer, usually there's no tumor. You can't screen for it to prevent it, and the symptoms can look like other things, so it could be hard to diagnose. I had a fever for weeks. I was so tired all the time. I didn't feel like eating or doing anything else for that matter. And I know that this can feel scary. But if you know what to look out for, you'll know what to tell your doctor. And you'll feel more empowered to take the next steps. Like getting in touch with the people who know the ins and outs and can help with everything blood cancer related. Blood Cancer United. They work one-on-one with each person who reaches out to answer questions and offer resources. Blood Cancer United was there for me, and they can be there for you.
Go to bloodcancerunited.org to learn more.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I want to continue giving you guys information about what the skill set of the future is going to require, because there seems to be, I don't know, is it a myth or just a faulty understanding that everybody is owed a job or employment. And when we see somebody that's unemployed and they tell us their hard luck story of how they can't find work, of course, we immediately feel sorry for them. But then there's also an expectation that, oh, somebody needs to create a job. Create a job doing what? Just like what do you expect a job to offer you? If you don't have the skill set, then you can't work at that place. It's super simple. It's an agreement. It's a contract. It's an understanding. You have these skills. You have this education. You have this experience, and you put it all down on a piece of paper or a resume. If people even accept resumes anymore, I don't even know if they do. And then your employer is like, okay, cool. You have the education and the skill set that we are looking for. We're going to buy it from you for $37 an hour or $52,000 a year plus benefits and 401k and dental and health insurance. You're selling your skill set. Now, I know this may be very hard for some people to believe, especially the people that don't have a skill set. Can't hire you if you can't do anything. If you don't have basic customer service skills, if you can't use, I don't know, Microsoft Office, if you don't have reasonable telephone etiquette, if you don't have problem-solving skills, what are we going to hire you to do? And if we do hire you at this hypothetical company that just came here and planted itself down in Milwaukee just to give you a job because you want one, you're not going to last long. There's a skill set that I know that's missing. People don't know how to work with other people. I don't know how you teach that. I thought that was just real basic decency and respect. You might know how to do the job, but if you work with a bunch of people that have poor social skills, like you ain't got to like the people that you work with, but you got to be able to coexist with them for the purposes of doing the job you were hired to do because you have a skill set that your employer purchased from you. And maybe that's the way which we need to look at it. I can't just hire anybody. Nobody can just hire anybody because that's going to be an unmitigated disaster. Talk to somebody that's looking for work, that's looking for workers. Let them tell you the horror stories about the interviews, the lack of professionalism. 3 out of 5 people are going to smell like marijuana when they come to the job interview. If you have to get high to go into a job interview, who's going to hire that person? And that's why I think the legalization of marijuana is going to be deceptive, because you'll still get drug tested. A company can drug test you, even though marijuana is legal. There might be a dispensary next door to wherever it is you're working. If that job doesn't want the liability of someone high as an employee, because remember, if you get hurt at work, that's a whole process of legal stuff that goes on, right? And even though you may feel normal or feel better, or maybe you're more productive if you're high, and I'm just using marijuana as an example because it seems to be ubiquitous nowadays. An employer can say, no, I need you at your best and your most focused and your sharpest. And then I know what some of you were saying, but I am my best and my most focused and my sharpest when I'm high. Then you have a drug problem. It's deceptive because we also live in a society that loves alcohol very much a lot. I mean, hell, I got a Tito's vodka baseball jersey that Tito's sent me. I wore it a couple times on air, but I was like, this is probably a bad idea because it's not like Tito's is paying me. We have a baseball team that's named after how you make beer. I don't know if they still have it, but Budweiser used to sponsor vehicles in NASCAR. And you're probably thinking, oh, what's the big deal with that? Just for a second, think creatively. How is that not promoting drinking and driving? You have a NASCAR going 200 miles an hour with Budweiser stickers and paintings and drawings all over the damn car. And people always talk about how much fun they have when they go, oh, we got so drunk last night, we don't even remember what happened. We had so much fun. Think about that for a second, too. How is that fun if you don't know what happened? I'd be very nervous if I went out drinking and couldn't recall what took place. I would wonder if a certain part of my body is still a virgin. Because, hey, if you can't remember, you don't know what happened, right? But it also makes it incredibly easy in this society, especially in Milwaukee, to be an alcoholic. And there's some alcoholics that are very high functioning. If you go and drink, I'm not kidding you, if you drink every single day, and no shade to people that do, some of you do, it is what it is, none of my business. If you go to happy hour every single day, no one would even think that that's weird or excessive here. Or the weather's getting warmer. It's supposed to be 80-some degrees this weekend, right? Today, tomorrow, it's going to be warm, real warm. First of all, somebody's going to get shot. I'm just telling you. That's going to happen. But then people like to sit outside and drink. That's a whole nother element here. Boats are going to be on the water. I don't even know what the laws are when it comes to drinking and boating because, I have friends that have boats. Get you a friend that has a boat. Seriously, highly recommended. And there's a whole bunch of different bars and restaurants that actually have boat slips where you can get on your boat, ride up and down the river, and then dock your boat at a restaurant. You walk up the little stairs there and you go to the restaurant. All the people that I see that are boating on the Milwaukee River or whatever, the Menominee River, the KK River, and they get off their boats and go into these bars, they're already drunk already. Can you drunk boat? Is that a legal thing here? I'm not sure because I've never seen a sober boater. I think you can drunk boat here. Very common. And the problem of excessive drinking is masked by the culture of alcohol. I mean, we're a city that used to make pretty much all the beer in the world. A lot of folks don't know this, but Wisconsin was the last state. We had to have been the last one. We held out. The drinking age, it used to be 18 years old. That's a bad idea. I don't know if it's, could you imagine a bunch of high school seniors? Well, some of y'all are old enough to remember. Is there anybody in the chat that is old enough to remember when the drinking age in Milwaukee or Wisconsin was 18? Then they moved it to 19. And then there was this weird period where you were grandfathered in. So if you were born like before a certain date, because they changed it to 21 universally everywhere in the country to buy alcohol and to consume alcohol and to go into bars, blah, 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 blah. But if your birthday fell in a weird range, they grandfathered you in so you could be 19 and still drink. And so Wisconsin maintained our low drinking age until the very, very last minute, until the federal government came in and said, if you don't raise your drinking age in Wisconsin, we're going to suspend all of your federal highway dollars. You won't be able to build or fix or repair any of your roads and bridges unless you raise your drinking age. And Wisconsin still pushed back. We were like, but we don't want to, because here's what was happening. Kids from Illinois that were 19 years old would drive across the state line to Wisconsin because our drinking age was still 19. Drinking age in Illinois was 21. And a lot of those kids never made it back. They would die on the highway because they would get absolutely plastered and get on the highway and drive back to Illinois, or at least so they thought. That is the culture of this place. Another one of the reasons why marijuana has remained absolutely prohibited and illegal, and it still is illegal in the state of Wisconsin. I know that's kind of hard to conceptualize because we do have certain types of dispensaries because of the Farm Bill. The Tavern League. You smoke a couple of joints, you're not drinking nearly as many Manhattans. You're just not. Marijuana is competition to alcohol, and the alcohol industry is a very, very, very strong lobby because of how important the drinking culture is to Wisconsin. I got a couple of text messages here at 833-212-1017. Where do I begin? Eugene says, hello, I saw your show and wanted to share this. Boosie will be here next Friday, and his team gave me some flyers and posters to pass out to promote it. Can I bring some to the station to drop off and for y'all to promote? He wants to get the word out to purchase tickets. Please don't purchase them online because it's $40 cheaper to purchase them in person. So, no. And why I'm assuming Boosie, where is he going to be even? It doesn't matter. He probably wants people to purchase them in person because then he'll get the money. If you buy them online, then ticket resellers will get a higher portion of the ticket price. But I say this to folks all the time. Hey, Sherwin, I got something going on here. Can you promote my this? Or somebody's coming into town and they want people to buy tickets. You got to run ads like everybody else. I don't care if Bootsy coming to town. You selling tickets, we selling something too. Ad space. So no, I'm not. I don't know, maybe Tori will. I'm not going. How would I even sound? Hey, everybody, buy little Boosie tickets. I don't know how many of the people in this listening audience even listen to Lil Boosie. Stacy wants to know, do you come up with your own topics for your show or are they given to you? That varies by show. I don't know how other shows do it, actually. I'm not sure how they... There's some where they meet, like the host and the producer will meet and discuss stuff. I know that's how they do it at 620 TMJ. They have like these meetings, pre-show meetings, and is it a production meeting? I don't know what it's called, where they decide on topics and the producer provides a list of topics. They try to do that with me. That's not my preferred way to deliver information. Now, I'm going to say something that's very unique to me, and I don't want to offend any other radio hosts who may happen to listen to my show. And I can tell the difference in a radio program where the topics are selected with consensus. So let's say you have a host and a co-host, and you have a producer, and they each may bring some ideas to the table. Not every idea can get realized because you only have a 2-hour show or a 3-hour show, so everyone won't be able to discuss the topic that they brought to the table. So you have to come up with some kind of consensus of what topics you're going to discuss, and maybe they take notes and they do bullet points. I don't know. I'm not sure how they do it. But I think this is my personal opinion. I got to say that because folks get offended real easy nowadays. When you have to do a radio show by committee, you kill creativity. I could sit down with a producer and they say, hey, Sherwin, here, I have a whole list of topics that you should discuss. And then I'll bring my own topics and then we decide what the show was going to consist of. You can't make this predictable. Because we get one phone call from Bob or Al or Lisa or Linda, and all that stuff gets thrown out the window. I think, is my personal opinion, the radio programs go better when it's just live and it's organic. You can't script this. And sometimes I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I feel like just blowing the lid off of stuff, just revealing the curtain. Because you can tell. There's some people that I interview, and I used to interview people all the time. No, I don't really want to talk to anybody because, come on. What do you really have to offer? When you get certain folks on, the interviews are scripted. I hate them. I hate scripted interviews. I hate them. Because I'm not engaged in you. I'm reading. It's like if somebody's giving a speech. Speaking of which, I went to the swearing in of Milwaukee Fire Chief Aaron Lipsky yesterday at Ladder Station number 2 on 7th and Wells. Such a wonderful public servant. That guy is fantastic. You know, the Lipsky family has had someone serving on the Milwaukee Fire Department continuously since 1912. Like, that's That's awesome. But he's giving his speech thanking everybody and, telling everybody how wonderful it is to be in Milwaukee and to serve the people of Milwaukee. He didn't have hi, I'm Chief Aaron Lipsky, and I would like to thank everybody for coming here today. No, you got to have it organic. I've received scripts before where people have given me every single word to say in 30 minutes. Like, why would you put together that much work? You know how much typing that is? To type out a dialogue between two people where you're scripting out every single word. But that's how some people get down. It feels to me, it just sounds like it's insincere and inauthentic, especially when they try to write like humor into the segments. It's so bad. All right. Probably didn't need to share any of that. Take a break, come back. There was an Obama story I wanted to share earlier in the week, but it got passed up. Come back, talk about that. Have I given you guys all the skill sets you're going to need for jobs that you're probably never going to get in the future? I guess we'll do some of that too. Hell, we'll do it all today. We'll do everything. It's my last day here as a Good Karma Brands employee, but I'll be back on Tuesday, May 26th, literally in the same place, but just working for a different company. In the meantime, next week during the week, I will broadcast from my YouTube channel where I'll keep everybody abreast and up to date of what the new Black Media Trust radio program and social media broadcast is going to look like. So I'll keep you guys posted over at Hughes Views 414. That is my YouTube channel. In the meantime, I'm going to take me a little breaky break. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Milwaukee Black Talk.
You don't want to be there. You don't like the work. You don't like the people. Now, there are some differences. The only difference is modern American slavery and capitalism versus 19th century. We were dramatically more primitive back then. And a slave that is able to buy their freedom is the same as the disaffected, disgruntled worker that is able to buy their way into entrepreneurship because that for them is free.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Don't miss one of Milwaukee's favorite summer traditions, the U-Path Ride for Arts, presented by Miller Lite, returns Sunday, May 31st. Ride a fully closed 20-mile course across the Hone Bridge with incredible lakefront views. Kids 12 and under ride free thanks to the Brewers Community Foundation. All in support of Southeastern Wisconsin Performing Arts. 7 a.m. start, finish at UPath Fest on Summerfest grounds. Register today at upathride.org. That's UPAFRIDE.org.
At UW Credit Union, our home loans have everything you need for your next big step, including up to $750 off closing costs for all home buyers. And first-time buyers can save even more. So if you're ready to trade roomies for more room, or your townhome for an out-of-town home, UW Credit Union will be with you from start to furnished. UW Credit Union. Apply online today. Equal housing lender. Credit may be limited as required by program. Visit uwcu.org for details.
Prizes, exclusive experiences, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting truthcontests.com. That's truthcontests.com.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Bike crash? Call Gruber's offices. One call, that's all.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The most valuable skill sets for the 2030 economy. Number one is AI literacy and human-AI collaboration. I know that probably irks some of you because here's the thing. If you just resist new technology, then maybe it won't happen. If you just try to slow the clock down, maybe seconds will get a little bit longer. Maybe days and weeks will get a little bit longer, and the inevitable may never show up. If you just resist these changes and these updates and where the world is moving to, maybe, just maybe, you can be stuck in the past. You know that's not the case. And we don't know what the future is going to bring, but the only thing that you can do to have the best shot of success, especially if you still plan on working into the next decade, the next 10 or 15 years, is you just got to be prepared as best you can. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen with these elections. We don't know what's going to happen in 2028. We don't know where the economy is going to be. Earlier in the week, I asked you all if you believe we were in a recession or heading toward one. Overwhelmingly, the answer was yes. And if you know that the recession is coming, or if you believe it's here, you might have to adjust some of your spending. You might have to look for a second job if you're at risk of being laid off or your hours getting cut, because that is typically what happens in an economic recession. You got to prepare for it. You don't know how long it's going to last. You don't know how bad it's going to be. You don't know what inflation is going to do. You don't know what interest rates are going to do, but you can try to prepare. Same thing when it comes to the jobs for the future, because I really don't want us to be dealing with these exact same social problems next decade and the decades after that. Our opportunity to fix the future is actually right now. I think that's the tough part, especially when it comes to legislation, because we'll identify a problem immediately and want to fix in 24 hours. Because with a short attention span society that is dominated by being able to be an in-the-moment consumer, like if I decide I want a new pair of shoes, I can go on Amazon, and the shoes might get to my house before I get there after I'm done with my radio show. But when it comes to social change and when it comes to improving people's lives and creating long-lasting and durable policy, you can't expect the fix to be overnight. An example could be the Voting Rights Act when passed. Obviously, it was to protect American citizens when they go and register and vote, no matter where in the country you were. But it also was to increase the number of registered voters, because it was so difficult or impossible for so long for Black people in particular to be able to register and vote. I believe Mississippi had a 1% Black voter turnout rate just because it was so difficult, if not impossible, for African Americans in the state of Mississippi to vote. That's why the Freedom Rides had to make sure they stopped in Mississippi, because there were very, very low numbers of African Americans that were registered to vote during the Jim Crow era. But the Voting Rights Act was not just about that moment and protecting people and enshrining their right to vote in law. It's about having people in the future see voting as a necessary part of being an American. And because African Americans were kept out, this is just one example, I could give a million others, of the process of selecting our own legislators, executives, and leaders, our lives were not adequately and accurately reflected in policy, because those that got elected were elected by someone else and not us. But if you have this protection, an impenetrable type of protection when it comes to someone's vote and registering to vote, and then the parents are doing it, and now the kids are seeing their parents vote, and the next generation is voting, then you get to a point like we did in 2012, which shocked all of us, and there was a major, major shift and almost a re-examination of voting rights in this country, because for the first time ever, and I'm going to attribute this to the Voting Rights Act that was signed and passed. There was several tenets, even in the Civil Rights Act of 1964, but the Voting Rights Act of 1965, that allowed for something to happen in 2012 that nobody ever predicted. You had a point in this country where Black people simply couldn't vote, but then in 2012, African-American voter turnout was 66%. White turnout was 64%. Because of the Voting Rights Act of the past, more African-Americans voted in the future. So things that we do right now, policy examinations that we create and we come up with right now, will help people in the future. Very, very difficult to be that selfless, to try and support a piece of legislation that you're not ever going to benefit from, but someone in the future will. And that's a tough sell, because you almost have to ignore what you lack right now, but want to make sure that someone in the future that you don't know, that you'll never meet doesn't deal with what you're dealing with right now. And so we're being forged in fire because I can name, several thousand things that I don't want to see repeated in the future. It could be our economic climate. It could be our social climate. It could be whatever the hell politics are these days. And there are things that we should be suggesting and strategizing. And when we go and select our political candidates, and the good news is you're going to have a whole bunch of different flavors of candidate to choose from, especially if you are voting in the gubernatorial election. They have to be future focused. There's some things in the immediate need, I suppose. But a lot of times legislation does not take root and make monumental change for a whole generation. So you guys remember when the Republicans used to have these big erections for Ronald Reagan? Like about 10 or 15 years ago, all these Republicans, well, I looked up to Ronald Reagan and I want to be more like Ronald Reagan. Terrible example, by the way, but like he was really like a popular Republican to look up to. In fact, Ronald Reagan, to somebody like, let's say, Scott Walker, whose political season has sun rose and sunset. I bet Scott Walker is delivering DoorDash now. What is he doing? What is that guy even doing with his life? But yeah, he's out of the game, and probably for good reason. He even gave a speech where he talked about this picture he had in his office of Ronald Reagan, because Ronald Reagan's policies weren't realized until about 30 or so years later. And that's how it is with most presidents. The things that they sign in executive order. Trump is a little bit different. Trump gets stuff immediately. But most policies take a lot of time to absorb, and then states have to absorb them, and local governments absorb these presidential policies, and it takes about a generation. And some of Ronald Reagan's policies that a lot of Republicans probably 10, 15 or so years ago, that what they loved about his era is how it marginalized black people. So when they say they loved Ronald Reagan because he was there when we had the largest prison expansion, when we had some of the upticks in incarcerations for violent crime, when we had, and this was several different incarnations of this, crack cocaine epidemic and how we criminalized crack cocaine, Ronald Reagan essentially set us on that path, and the Republicans just loved it. Because think about this, though, too. In a very competitive American society, if there are groups of people that are not going to vote for you, your party, and your interests, you don't want them anywhere near a ballot box. And because of the Voting Rights Act, some of those people have the right to be at the ballot box. But if you underinvest in their communities, a lot of them are going to get caught up in the system, and they're going to go to jail. And we know if you get a felony, guess what? You can't vote. I think deep down we believe that those elected leaders are supposed to be just wonderful people and they're supposed to help everybody. They do not. Democrats probably do more of that than Republicans do. Republicans want to redistrict Democrats out of existence because they don't want to take anything from a Democratic agenda and incorporate it into what they do. Now, there was a period of time where it seemed there were better public servants regardless of political party, but the Republicans make it abundantly clear. Oh, wait, black people are getting jobs and getting hired and making money and lifting themselves up by their bootstraps. Well, why is that happening all of a sudden? Oh, because of DEI. Well, then kill DEI then. What do you mean African Americans were left out of, let's say, government employment and private sector employment for many, many generations in this country? Well, how are they getting jobs now? How are they excelling? How are they so competitive? How are they taking jobs from white people? Affirmative action? Oh, make that unconstitutional then. How are these black people getting so smart? These are real questions I'm sure that somebody was asking in some boardroom. How are these black people getting into college? How are they learning so much? What do you mean we can't stop them from getting into these colleges? Well, can we tell the colleges that they won't get any more federal funding if they use race, if they want to diversify their campus, but they use race to select who is going to be in their freshman class? Can we tell them they get no more federal funding? How about this? Okay, fine. We got to stop these blacks from going to college because if they get an education, not only will they be competitive, they might outcompete some white people. Let's make college really expensive, like debt forever. Let's make it impossibly expensive. So fine, if you want to take the risk on getting a college degree, the other thing they're not telling you, because Republicans have gone on this kick in the last few years, you don't need to go to college. College is a waste of money. Our senator here, Ron Johnson, I still don't know how dude got elected. We may question how Trump got elected. Ron Johnson getting elected and reelected as a senator in Wisconsin is even more astonishing than Donald Trump getting elected. Because I can see a collection of dumb people in other states that would give Donald Trump enough electoral college votes. I just didn't think that Wisconsin would be one of those states, but clearly we are. Ron Johnson was someone that said publicly and on the record, people don't need to go to college anymore. They can just learn off of YouTube. Now, if you want to learn how to unclog your sink, yes, absolutely. But he said that YouTube is a replacement for an actual curriculum. The more educated you are, the more likely you are to be a Democrat. You know who carries the most student debt? I'm sure you've heard me say it before, but I need to reiterate it so people who may be hearing this for the first time. African-American women, but they're also outpacing almost white men when it comes to college enrollment and graduation rates. Men are just like sinking in a whole bunch of different categories, but African-American women are some of the most educated people in this country. Therefore, it makes sense that they have the highest student debt burden. And student debt you can't get rid of with a bankruptcy. So you can file bankruptcy 6 ways from Sunday and your student debt is not going to go away. In fact, it's going to continue to accrue interest in such a sinister way. And this is why the whole student debt forgiveness thing was a real and necessary policy. You can borrow a certain amount of money to go to college. And every year it probably got more and more expensive, and whatever your total tuition was. You can have forbearances and deferments, and you can take a pause on your student loans because they're very forgiving and very flexible if you can't make a student loan payment, but the interest never stops. Do you know how many people there are that owe more money in their student loans than they borrowed in the first place, and it's debt they can't get rid of? And that burden fell on the backs and the shoulders of black women disproportionately. And Joe Biden said we need to do college debt forgiveness, and Donald Trump stopped it. And a bunch of red Republican states sued to stop student debt forgiveness. Why? Because they didn't want to give black women any relief from that student debt. At the same time, we have a country that is contingent upon the most educated people. How far do you think we're going to go competing against China and India and so many other countries where they prioritize educating their populations? And you got folks over here thinking they can learn a whole curriculum on the YouTubes. Take a little pause, come back, probably rant and rave about a whole bunch of other things because, I mean, why the hell not? The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
At Versity on King, we believe taking care of our community starts right here, together. Every day, neighbors step up to donate blood, helping save lives in Milwaukee and beyond. But Versity on King is more than a donor center. It's a place for health education, community connection, and support, especially for families facing conditions like sickle cell disease. When you donate blood, you're not just giving, you're showing up for your community. Visit versity.org/VersityOnKing to learn more or schedule your donation today. Versity on King, rooted in community, powered by hope.
Do you hear that? And that? And that? Those are the sounds of a healthy and vibrant community. And to this United Way volunteer, nothing sounds better. They're the sounds of children being given greater chances to succeed in school. The sounds of neighbors receiving the support needed to overcome challenges, both big and small. They're the sounds of families gaining access to quality health care and nutritious food for their tables. And they're the sounds of members of our community who've benefited from United Way's financial education programs. See, wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. People working together to respond and growing the good for everyone. United is the way. So join us by getting involved or giving back. Learn more at unitedway.org.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Our phone number is 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. So Andy just called back. He's talking about a show that's not this one. So I'm trying to figure out what the hell he's even listening to. He said he's listening to the radio, but whatever he's listening to on the radio is not what's happening right now. Is that a him problem? Because what I'm saying right now is being broadcast on the FM signal. We're not replaying a show on the radio that's not this live broadcast, is it?
No, I think he's just having
Insane.
some problems.
He's okay. It's nuts. All right, that clears it up for me. The stranger things have happened. What is this here? The most valuable skill sets for the 2030 economy: AI literacy and human AI collaboration. This is becoming the new baseline skill set, similar to what computer literacy was in the 1990s. Workers should know how to use AI tools productively, write effective prompts, verify AI outputs, detect errors, hallucinations, and bias, automate repetitive workflows, combine multiple AI systems together. That doesn't sound like any skill set that anybody right now wants to learn. In fact, if you just resist it, if you just like close your eyes and put your fingers in your ears and just, I don't hear what's going on, I don't hear what's going on, I don't want to know, I don't want to know, I don't want to know, I think you'll be just fine. Because I think that's probably worked out in the past when people have denied the future. The key distinction: the future belongs to less people replaced by AI and more people who can supervise, direct, and improve AI systems. I'm curious. Maybe some of you know, maybe you don't. If you're a senior in high school right now, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because I don't know what their future is going to look like. Is there some mention or focus or required class or elective classes where seniors in high school right now on the verge of graduation, hell, they'll be graduating next month, are they taking any classes or getting any instruction on artificial intelligence? We had computer classes when I was in high school, but I started high school in the 80s. I had a typing class. I think Brown Deer had just switched over to electronic typewriters, because before me, it was old school typewriters with the ding, and you got to hit the lever and bring the carrier back over to the other side. I bet there's a whole generation of people right now alive that have never typed on a typewriter. There's something very satisfying about hitting an old school mechanical key on a typewriter. Do I want to bring those days back? I absolutely do not, but I remember those days fondly. Analytical and critical thinking. There's such a lack of this nowadays. I see it everywhere. This is a part of the skill sets that people are going to need in the future. As AI generates more information, human value shifts toward interpreting information. That's reading comprehension, which we know is low. Making decisions under uncertainty. Identifying flawed assumptions. Recognizing manipulation or misinformation. That ain't no way. I still see people posting on Facebook, I do not give Facebook permission to use my photos. These are my photos. Do you know that that myth has been debunked for 10 years? I don't give permission to Facebook. When you put in a username or an email address and a password, you surrendered everything. You are using their platform, and it's free. And then telling them, Facebook, that they can't use what you are giving to them in order to keep Facebook free. Your information, your comments, your likes, your shares, everything you post, all of that is monetized by Facebook. Now, we're not paying anything for that service, but you can't then say, hey, Facebook, don't use my photos. Hell yeah, they're going to use your photos. In fact, they're making facial recognition better and smarter. Okay, so some of you have been on Facebook since, well, you were in college, because it started off as a college thing only. And then I think in 06 or 07, because you had to have a .edu email address to even sign up for Facebook. And I think they took that away probably 18 or so years ago. And then regular, normal, not in college people could sign up for Facebook. The pictures that you may have posted, if you got one of those Facebook accounts, either when you were in college and you were 18, 19, 20 years old, and some of you might be in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s, you've aged, okay? Think about this. The pictures that you first posted on Facebook in 2000, let's say 5, well, you don't look the same in 2026 because that was 21 years ago, right? As you post pictures every week or every 2 weeks, every month, some people only post pictures a couple times a year, but the aggregate of your photos shows you aging. That is being fed into an algorithm so we can accurately determine how human beings age. So you ever see those renderings? I know we were talking about Alexis Patterson, who disappeared in, when did she disappear? 2002, maybe? And they showed a picture of what she would look like now. And I suppose it's a pretty accurate representation of what, I think she was 9 or 10 when she disappeared. And they show what she would look like as a woman in her late 20s. Algorithms are fed by information that we give it. So you posting your pictures and your selfies, and I don't blame you for posting selfies. You ever wake up one day and you just feel real sexy. You just feel hot. You're like, the world needs to see how I look. You ever feel that way sometimes? You wake up and like, the world needs to see this ass. You know what I mean? And you post a picture and then you get, I don't know, 17 or 19 likes on it. Like, yeah, everybody's agreeing. I look good. You are teaching an algorithm how you look, what you look like. You post another picture in 3 days, 4 days, 4 months, 6 months. That progression of your natural aging is also making the algorithm a lot smarter. Analytical and critical thinking, recognizing manipulation and misinformation, connecting unrelated ideas. AI can generate. So basically the entire future, how many categories I got here in this article? 1, 2, communication skills is one. But most of the stuff that you're going to need to know to be successful in the technologically sophisticated future is all based on AI. But I don't know how that's going to happen because everybody is resisting these AI data centers. I'm just waiting for one to get like firebombed and vandalized. Because people are very against them. Number 3 is communication skills. Yeah, I definitely need to take a break so I can come back with a fresh segment on these communication skills because this is something that we can and should be perfecting now. And it exists separately from sophisticated, technical, artificial intelligence information, basic communication skills. Customer service 101. If I go to a restaurant and the food is so-so or lackluster, but the customer service skills and how I'm treated is top-notch, I'll go back to that restaurant. A restaurant that has the best food I've ever eaten and horrible service, they'll never see me ever again. I can make up an excuse for the food being so-so. But if you make me feel good and you're decent and you're kind and you're respectful and you're attentive, that's what I'm actually paying for. That's why I don't mind tipping. You're not just tipping the price of the food. It's an overall experience. And if you're not getting an experience that is 20% in addition to what the food cost is, then either don't go out to eat or go to a different restaurant. But I also know the tipping culture has gotten out of control. How come y'all don't give me tips for doing a radio show? I should put a tip jar in the studio. It would be empty, but I should. I mean, everybody else is asking for tips. How come I can't ask for tips? Xavier, you need to put a tip jar in the producer studio.
You know it's possible, like we talked about before.
Everything is possible.
Just like when you go live on your Hughes Views, you could turn on your monetization and they can send you tips.
Oh, my God, send me all the money. In fact, no, I don't even want y'all to do that. Send me one sugar mama. Just one to pay all my bills. Can I get a sugar mama? Just one. I don't need several, but if a couple of you want to, like, split the duties, I'm cool with that. I'll let y'all work that out. But let me just get a sugar mama. Okay? Thank you. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Coming with straight truth.
Did you go along with this? Did you plot this out? Did you go into the store with the intentions of causing a negative situation? This is the part that people don't like once they get into court after they get caught. Now, should he be executed for killing somebody he didn't do? I don't think so. He's already serving life. He's going to die in prison. I think that's what's going to happen. At the same time, this is a message to the younger folks.
Catch the Tory Lowe Show every weekday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your family's tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
At UW Credit Union, we have best-in-class technology and peopleology. Like if you lose your card, you can stop by in-branch for a same-day replacement. Or you can have a new one instantly issued to the app. So whether you prefer interacting with our snappy online interface or our in-person regular faces, UW Credit Union is always here for every you. And whichever you choose, it's the best of both worlds. Join today at uwcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Dream of a land my soul is from. I hear a hand stroke on the drum.
Welcome back to the program. I don't know what you're supposed to do, Xavier. I'm just over here. I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut.
Well, I'm in the same boat.
That's all it is. I just need to know where I can get a nut at, because I'm a squirrel, and that's what squirrels eat. I'm not going to put a bunch of, squirrels store nuts in their cheeks. I'm not doing that.
Oh, I let them out.
The nuts?
Yep.
I mean, you can only store them for so long.
Exactly. It's all about the release.
I'm not here next week, ladies and gentlemen. I'm taking vacation days. I'm probably going to miss it, because I haven't been off. I don't know if I've ever been off a week.
Well,
I got other things to do, though, I guess.
You can tune into your YouTube. There'll be videos playing.
I can't watch myself for very long. I sometimes watch because when I'm in the moment and I'm talking, I sometimes forget it's a camera in here, and my body language is weird. I move all around. I lean on the chair all weird. Sometimes I spin on the chair. Sometimes I put on a bonnet. I do weird stuff sometimes. It's hard to watch myself. It used to be hard to listen to myself, because I know a lot of people hate the sounds of our voices. It's because we sound different when we listen to our voices objectively. Most people will say, oh, I don't like the sound of my voice. Because when you hear your voice, you're hearing the sound of your voice echoing through your own head, and that changes the sound dynamic. Somebody explained this to me, and it made total sense. I was like, oh, it's not that I hate the sound of my voice. I just don't sound like I sound on a recording, because then the sound of my voice just comes directly in my ear holes. Now when I speak, because my mouth is close to my ears, the sound of my voice, it echoes through my peanut brain, and it just bounces around in my head, and that changes how I hear my own voice. But here's the thing. I got kind of a sexy voice. It's sexy a little bit. Got some sex appeal to it. A little bit. Will you guys get mad at me if I'm honest about Michelle Obama? Of all the things that I discuss, and there's a lot of things that I discuss, whenever I remark on what Michelle Obama has said publicly about a man that I hold in very high esteem, because I don't want anybody tarnishing the legacy of Barack Obama, because there's a whole subset of people in this country, like half of the country, and a whole political party that also despise him, but they don't despise him because he was bad. They despise him because he was good. I think it is fair to be honest about Barack Obama's failures, because we should learn from them and not duplicate his policy failures that he committed. And no president is going to be perfect. But I think by and large what he meant, especially if you were coming of age during his presidency, there are some young people that, like, their first understanding of the president of the United States, maybe, I don't know, third grade or fourth grade or whatever, saw a black president for 8 years, meaning to them, it's no big deal. It's just normal. And to them, it also probably, once you learn history and you learn the civil rights struggles, which we have to make sure is taught universally in American schools, because if we're going to teach about the Holocaust, you better teach about my history. You better teach. I'm just saying, you're going to pass a law to teach about that, which fine with me, but don't exclude us. I'm crumpling up my damn papers. People will see the natural progression of how black people were property. And then freedom came, and it was long fought. And then someone who would have been a slave was elected fairly to the presidency, because there is one thing we can say about Barack Obama's election and reelection. Wasn't no accusation of voter fraud there. Even the most racist among us said, dude won fair and square. And I found it interesting that when an old white guy wins the election, because a bunch of people in this country didn't like the one old white guy that won, they wanted the other old white guy to win, then all of a sudden we say it's election fraud. Not that anybody committed any election fraud, because I don't know anybody that does, because that's about the dumbest damn felony you can possibly get. If we were going to cheat, we would have cheated to get Obama elected, and we didn't. So why would we cheat to get Joe Biden elected? That's not a candidate you cheat to get elected. Joe Biden was a consolation prize. That's not worth going to prison for and cheating and manipulating the system. And, hey, black people, let's all vote 3 times for Joe Biden because, you know, he's going to be the best we can possibly do. Now, I would have went to that meeting if they said, hey, everybody, here's a strategy session on how we're going to vote for Barack Obama 3 times. I wouldn't have voted for him 3 times, but I would have went to the meeting just to, like, see what they're talking about. You know what I mean? The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM will be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
The revolution starts in our mind, right? You know when Gil Scott-Heron said the revolution won't be televised? Like he didn't mean that you won't be able to watch it on TV. He means the revolution starts in your mind. You nincompoop. Y'all been running around saying that for 60 years. The revolution won't be televised, and didn't even know what the hell it meant. It starts with us.
Let him cook. Watch all your favorite 1017 The Truth shows by subscribing to 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
As parents, we have a million things running through our minds. Playdates, checkups, groceries, laundry, diapers, work, carpool schedules, picture day, swim team, did we mention diapers, birthday parties, meal prep, lost permission slips, dentist appointments, and the dog that still needs to be walked. So it's easy to make a mistake. Oh, I forgot birthday candles. Sit tight, hon, I'll be right back. We say we'd never put our kids in danger by leaving them in the car alone. Oh, wait, since when are candles not on the baking aisle? But never happens. And temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you, and every time you park the car, stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When I was diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma, I had so many questions. I didn't even know that it was cancer. Now I do. It is cancer. Blood cancer. It's actually one of more than 100 different types, and they're all treated differently. Now, unlike some other forms of cancer, usually there's no tumor. You can't screen for it to prevent it, and the symptoms can look like other things, so it could be hard to diagnose. I had a fever for weeks. I was so tired all the time. I didn't feel like eating or doing anything else for that matter. And I know that this can feel scary. But if you know what to look out for, you'll know what to tell your doctor. And you'll feel more empowered to take the next steps. Like getting in touch with the people who know the ins and outs and can help with everything blood cancer related. Blood Cancer United. They work one-on-one with each person who reaches out to answer questions and offer resources. Blood Cancer United was there for me, and they can be there for you.
Go to bloodcancerunited.org to learn more.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with Associated Bank. Your money works here. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, and it's Friday. It's 11 a.m. And this is when we do a segment called the Milwaukee Experience, sponsored by our good friends over at Visit Milwaukee. For more information about all the things that are going on in this wonderful but somewhat challenged city of Milwaukee, go to visitmilwaukee.org. That is visitmilwaukee.org. Just having a recent conversation with someone about this town, depending upon who they are and where they live and their experience in this town, you could be talking about a city that doesn't even sound recognizable. There are sophisticated and cosmopolitan and very urban parts of this town, and then there's places that looks like it's suitable to be in some other country. But there is something I believe brings us all together, and that is the experience of food, because food is so very closely connected to family. And aren't we all one big, somewhat dysfunctional, disagreeable family here in the city of Milwaukee? We are made up of dozens of different neighborhoods. I would encourage you to explore all of them. Certainly do so at your own risk. But while you are keeping an open mind as you are exploring all of these many varied neighborhoods in the city of Milwaukee, try to get a profound understanding of the different personalities. The Lower East Side has a personality. The Upper East Side has a very different personality. Brady Street versus the area surrounding UWM could be two different cities. And then you go to River West and you may not know what country you are in. Then you have these beautiful, almost suburban-like landscape neighborhoods like in Darris Park, but then you have this foundational historic neighborhood like Sherman Park. So much variety and so much variation, and each of these neighborhoods has their own history, they have their own stories, and they have their own restaurants. It is something that we are getting credit for positively in this city because there's plenty of bad news to go around. But the restaurants that we have here are, in fact, spectacular. In fact, some of the best restaurants I have ever been to are right here in my hometown. That's why I find it very difficult to travel, because wherever I go has got to be substantially better than what I am used to. And it's good to know that my standards are ever increasing. There's a point in time in my life where I thought a good steak came from Applebee's. I assure you it does not. To celebrate and promote the great dining options that we have in this city, I want to highlight and showcase Downtown Dining Week. And a lot of you are very familiar with this annual tradition that we have here in the city of Milwaukee, where a selected group of downtown restaurants will offer a specialized menu, oftentimes at greatly reduced prices, just so you can go in and experience these new restaurants that otherwise a lot of folks would not even consider. I think it is noteworthy that the Michelin rating group was in the city of Milwaukee about 2 weeks ago. Now, we're not going to know which restaurants are going to have what is arguably the highest rating a restaurant can get, whether it be nationally or internationally, but I assure you we will have several. I have my predictions of which restaurants will get this Michelin rating, but of course I'm going to keep that to myself. We're going to find that out sometime in the year 2027. So I want to give you guys a little information about Downtown Dining Week, where you can go and experience different restaurants. Most of these I have been to. Several I have not. Many of them are new. At least one of them is Black-owned. If you've been looking for an excuse to check out a new restaurant or a reason to revisit an old favorite in downtown Milwaukee, well, here it is. You know what we need right now? We got to cue my Milwaukee Experience music. Ooh, that's it. Yeah, there we go. Celebrating 20 years of downtown dining deals this year, Milwaukee Downtown Business Improvement District number 21 will host Downtown Dining Week from May 28th through June 4th, featuring more than 30, count them, 30 restaurants in downtown Milwaukee, East Town, the 3rd Ward, offering special deals throughout the week, including lunch specials. The restaurants will offer prefix menus priced at $15 to $25 for lunch, $35, $45, or $55 for dinner. And that $55 might sound high, but I assure you, some of these restaurants, you would easily spend double that for the same menu item. So $55 is actually a steal. And considering the service, the quality of the food, and the atmosphere, it's totally worth it. Discounted parking will be available in select lots and structures courtesy of Interstate Parking. Participating lots and instructions for redeeming the discount will be posted at downtowndiningmke.com. That is downtowndiningmke.com. Now, hold on now, Xavier. We got to bring back our Milwaukee experience music, baby. There it is. It's just so sexy. You guys ready for the list of restaurants? Avli Milwaukee. That's Giannis's restaurant. It's Greek like him. Is he Greek? Is he a Milwaukeean or is he Nigerian? I don't know, but Avli is participating in Downtown Dining Week. Bacchus, which is a Bartolotta restaurant, the Blue Bat Kitchen and Tequileria, for those of you that drink that stuff, tequila. Cafe at the Pfister, that's a Milwaukee staple right there. You want to talk about people watching? The Cafe at the Pfister is probably some of the best people watching. Any hotel lobby bar is fantastic because you've got people that are, of course, from the city, and then you have all of the weary travelers that may be in a hotel bar. The same case, while not participating in Downtown Milwaukee Dining Week, that's also some good people watching, too. The Capitol Grill, Carson's Prime Steaks and Famous Barbecue. I've never been to Carson's. Just an FYI, I've not been there. I've heard many good things about Carson's. Maybe this is the time for me to go and experience Carson's Prime Steaks and Famous Barbecue, Central Standard Craft House and Kitchen, the Conroy Modern Supper Club, Doc's Smokehouse. I can vouch for Doc's Smokehouse. I've gone to Doc's Smokehouse by myself and asked to be seated in the corner because I don't want anybody to see me get down on that brisket. The Edison Electric Lime Taqueria. Been there many, many times. Elsa's on the Park. In fact, Elsa's and Electric Lime, essentially next door neighbors. Flower Child Pizza is participating. So Flower Child Pizza provided the pizza and the catering for an Axe Housing event that we did last fall. That pizza is so good, I felt like I was ovulating, and I'm a man. Il Servo at the top of the Trade Hotel is participating. Josa on the River right there on 2nd and Wells. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a brand new restaurant lounge right on the river, right on 2nd and Wells, and it is absolutely beautifully appointed. They had to have done a $500,000 conversion of that space at Josa on the River, and I got good news for you. Black African American owned. If you're into that kind of thing, just letting you know. But it does not have the typical feel of what we have come to expect in Black-owned eateries. It is purely a space that is catered to and curated for downtown, just to showcase the versatility of the African-American restaurateur. I highly recommend Josa on the River. And, of course, some of our old favorites like The Nick, Merriment Social, the Milwaukee Chop House, which is in the Hilton Hotel. Mader's German Restaurant. Go to Mader's and get some schnitzel. They are on Downtown Dining Week. The Oak Barrel Public House, Onesto, the Rodizio Grill. Those are those Fogo de Chao, the Brazilians. They bring out meat. Some of you like meat a lot. A lot. The Smoke Shack. Just talking to my brother about the Smoke Shack. He just had his first experience there. The 300 block of Broadway is where you can find the Smoke Shack. And all the times that I've been to the Smoke Shack, they've always run out of ribs. I've heard wonderful things about the ribs, but cannot vouch for them because they always sell out. Why don't you guys stop eating all the ribs? Why don't you let Sherwin get a rib? Can I get one rib? The American Social Tavern, the Studio Kitchen and Cocktails, Third Coast Provisions, Treva Rivali, Tupelo Honey, Southern Kitchen and Bar. You know who raves about Tupelo Honey is our former, but soon to be reunited, Carrie Noni. She's a Tupelo Honey fan. Vagabond, which is the most unique expression of style and atmosphere. It's on Edison Street. It's a Mexican restaurant that specializes in tacos with some very unconventional fillings. If you know, you know. Certainly check out Vagabond if you're a taco aficionado. Ward's House of Prime, Who's on Third, and The Yard at the Iron Horse Hotel rounds out the offerings for this year's Downtown Dining Week. Hope you guys go and check it out and experience some new restaurants. The Milwaukee Experience, presented by Visit Milwaukee. For more information about all the fun things there are to do in the city of Milwaukee, go to visitmilwaukee.org. That is visitmilwaukee.org. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee business owners, this is your moment. Every Friday at 8 a.m., call in to 101.7 The Truth for What the Business Is. Tell us what your business is, where you're located, and one thing you've learned along the way. What the Business is powered by We Energies, delivering the energy that powers local business. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your family's tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Dreaming of owning your first home? Don't settle for a fixer-upper. Build a brand new home with Milwaukee Habitat for Humanity. They partner with first-time buyers to make home ownership possible with little to no down payment and a team that's on your side every step of the way. Even if you're just starting to explore what's possible, they're here to help you take the next step. If your household earns between $55,000 and $90,000 a year, you may qualify. Visit MilwaukeeHabitat.org to learn more.
At UW Credit Union, our home loans have everything you need for your next big step, including up to $750 off closing costs for all home buyers. And first-time buyers can save even more. So if you're ready to trade roomies for more room, or your townhome for an out-of-town home, UW Credit Union will be with you from start to furnished. UW Credit Union. Apply online today. Equal housing lender. Credit may be limited as required by program. Visit uwcu.org for details.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This story appears in the UK Independent. Sometimes I want real journalism that's not impacted and infected by the propaganda that a lot of American media has become. And so international news outlets oftentimes do a much better job of reporting on what is happening in this nation objectively than some of the news corporations that are only owned by a few people, and all of them are under the threat of losing their licenses via the Trump administration. And so, of course, whenever the relationship between Barack and Michelle Obama is brought up, I find this very, very interesting because Michelle has been very vocal about her relationship publicly and also away from her husband. I could see if they're doing an interview with Oprah and they're disclosing what married life is like when you're the first family in the strains, because I'm sure there's probably some similarities in the strains that are on a marriage. Now, there's also some stuff that most common folks will never be able to relate to because, you know, most of you have not been president nor first lady of the United States. But I don't like how it's the battle of the sexes and how Barack Obama did all these things wrong, but at the same time, I believe is going to go down in history as arguably one of the best leaders this nation has ever had. And the impact of him, his legacy, and his policies. A lot of you all use the Affordable Care Act right now like that's legacy stuff. There's not a lot of policies that are still in everyday use that are making a real difference for Americans that were implemented by the previous 45 presidents. But it's almost like he was a good president, but he was not a good enough husband. So even if you have done, if you're a Nobel Peace Prize winner, but you know your wife still is not going to be happy. And I have a problem with that only because I have this probably a naive understanding of personal close relationships, even though Michelle and Barack Obama were very much public figures and they lived their lives very publicly. Relationships between two people is no one's business save for those two people. Now, the scrutiny that we put them under when they were president and first lady, it's totally not fair, but it also is one of the pitfalls of the job. Your life is under a microscope, but it's only temporary. And I personally believe that when they leave office, they have the right to privacy like everybody else. And they earned it and they deserve it. But this article that appears in the UK Guardian, it's troublesome because I think that Barack Obama still represents something very important in our politics. And I do think he has a lot of influence still. And he's not really using his influence, not nearly as much as Bill Clinton did. So when Bill Clinton left office, he was everywhere. He was campaigning for this person and raising money for that person. Bill Clinton stayed very active amongst Democratic Party hopefuls and candidates for the 20 years following his departure from office. Barack Obama is not doing that. He's very specific and he is very strategic. And so what this article, I'm going to read the article in a second, what it gets at is, should he be out here in the midterm election year of 2026 using his influence to help Democrats and to push back on these Donald Trump narratives? Because I don't know if anybody is more credible to speak on the presidency than Barack Obama because, you know, he's been president before. Newsflash, Barack Obama has more experience being president than Donald Trump does because Barack Obama, who has never been impeached, was president longer than Donald Trump was. Michelle Obama does not want her husband to participate in assisting Democrats win elections in the midterms because here we go again, taking her husband away from her. In this article, it basically says, and Michelle Obama is quoted, basically, no, it's over. Leave us alone. I don't want my man out there doing a job that I think is a lifelong commitment. Because if you were president of the United States, to me, you're always going to be Mr. and maybe one day Mrs. President forever. You served in the highest office of the land. And I may not agree with the policies of a president, but it's a lifelong commitment that you have to this nation. And if you can do some good, like I even like some of the stuff that George W. Bush did when it came to international issues. He's very much a humanitarian. And I appreciate that. Did I like his policies when he was in office? I did not. Did I think that he stole the 2000 election? He most certainly did, and laid the blueprint for how you can steal an election. Do I think that September 11th was an inside job? Well, I guess I probably shouldn't bring that up. But it was. Do I think the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan were unnecessary? Were they too expensive? Were the costs too high in casualties? And what we owe our veterans? We owe our veterans trillions of dollars. And quite honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know where the money is going to come from, because if you serve this country, it is my honor and my pleasure to take care of your health care costs. Because I'm not going to war. So if you go to war, you can go ahead and put your health care costs on my tax bill. But the amount of money that we're going to owe veterans moving into the future because of that 20-year war, let's be clear, we lost those wars. We left Afghanistan and the Taliban took over like that next Monday. I may not agree with the president, but I think if they have the capacity to do some good, I don't think that their wife, who was made first lady because the country voted for their husband, should have that kind of impact and influence on the president's duties after they leave office. I don't know about you all, but I want our democracy to be saved, because I'm familiar with the alternative, and I assure you it is worse, and it's going to be dramatically worse for black people. Let's talk to someone who doesn't really know. Sugar Honey Iced Tea from Shinola Shoe Polish. Hi, Bob. Hi. How are you?
Wow, you sounded so nice today. I don't know.
That was a great compliment I gave you.
I gotta watch out for you when you sound nice now. You know, whenever you mention Obama, you just remind me of the first time I voted until I talked to you. Ugh. And that made me ashamed of myself. But
Bob, do you drink?
You're gonna be off.
You do drink, because we saw you drink some beers at Beyond the Mic. Do you drink regularly?
I don't. No, I haven't drank in 40 years, like I said.
No, Bob. You got drunk at the Beyond the Mic. Remember when you came to Mr. B's and you brought all your little instruments and you did your little concert? You was drinking that night. Don't talk about you ain't drinking no 40 years. You drank in the last 4 months.
Oh, see, there you go. See, now, Al bought me 2 beers and I gave him one back. I said, I can't drink no 2 beers, and he took it back, but, your company that's going to buy you, needs to understand.
Make me feel like a slave. The company that's going to buy me.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yes, they're going to buy you. You give too much important information not to be heard. They need to understand that. You just give too much information. You just know so much. And I forget some of the stuff you said, so I'll be glad you said twice or 3 times, and the man that raised his voice at you, he got to understand you do not talk to someone like a kid. You just don't do that. And I commend you for holding your temper and holding back. I congratulate you. That makes me very proud of you. You held back.
When did I hold back? Because I'm about to unleash now.
Well, you didn't yell at the man. Now, see, next week you'll be gone, huh? Okay, I'll talk to you later, sir. You can unleash all you want. See, I tried to be nice, but I got to end it, aggravating like you are. You unleash.
I'm not even sure why we even take his calls. Who did I not unleash on? Who was he talking about? Did you know what he was talking about? I think I just tuned out for a minute when he was talking.
I think he's in the early stages of dementia. So,
early?
I sometimes, when he calls in, he tries to have a whole conversation with me, and I just tell him to save it for you.
He finished every bit of those 2 beers. I think we had to take the bottle away from him because as he was drinking, he would slam his beer bottle on the table with such force we thought he was going to break it. Because he would say something, and then after he made his point, he would, boom, slam his beer bottle on the table. I was like, we can't have Bob doing that here at Mr. B's, slamming beer bottles on the table. So, and here's the big mistake that we made, because he was drunk off of 2 beers. I don't even know what that's like. I know he's a cheap date. He probably puts out too. We let him drive back to Racine because he left, and we were like, oh, this is probably a good thing that Bob is going home. But then we're like, wait a minute. He drove himself, and he only has one good arm. And so there was somebody who was there at the event that had his phone number, and they were calling him to like tell him to stop or to pull over, and somebody was going to come get him and drive him back to Racine. But he didn't answer the phone. So there was a period of time, and he didn't talk to whoever that person was that was calling him until the next day or maybe even later. We're like, oh, Bob is dead. We killed Bob. Bob drank 2 beers, and we ain't never going to hear from him again. But nope. Like a cat, he got 9 lives. He's very much alive. Oh. Let's see here. What are y'all talking about in the YouTube chat? Linda says, hey, Sherwin, Truth Nation, what did I miss? Gotta rewind. Well, then rewind. Nobody trusts this station leadership. You will be missed. They better bring Telly and Denise back. So sad. I got to clear this up again. Nothing is changing. Nothing. We're going to be in the same place, the same frequency. Just the ownership of the station has changed. There's probably going to be some new shows. I don't want to jump the gun, but there might be some voices that you once heard on 101.7 The Truth that you are going to hear again. But as far as I know, it's essentially going to be the same. You're still going to tune into the same YouTube. You're still going to tune into the same frequency. That's all the same. Sherwin, Scott Walker is running a school for white boys, training them to be future leaders. Thanks, Linda. Locked and Lovely says, women, especially black women, are getting bachelor's and master's degrees, but men. There are more men getting STEM professional degrees than women of any race, so men will always out-earn women. Some men. When you adjust for bearing children, this is the fine print that often gets overlooked. In like 25 or 30 metro areas in the country, if a woman doesn't have children, the pay disparity is less than 2%. Because of the amount of time that has to be, the unpaid time that has to be dedicated to everything from maternity leave to taking time off, or some women leave the workforce outright. And if you're working over a lifetime, but if you spend like 5 years total out of the workforce because you took time off of a job, or you took extended maternity leave, whatever the case may be, that impacts your overall income because you're not bringing any money in. And so that creates a pay disparity. But if women don't have children, why do you guys want to have kids anyway? Like, I'm just curious. No shade. Just now, though, right now? Why now? This doesn't seem very convenient to want to have a baby. Unless, like, you really, like, it's a life goal. I would say start with a pet. And not even a dog. Start with a parakeet. And just see if you can teach it to talk. And maybe start there. And then once you get a parakeet, then maybe graduate to a cat. Because cats are a little bit more independent. But like a person. And you got to be careful when you bring a person into the world, because they could kill you. You ever think about that? You know how many parents are dead because they had a child that killed them? And that parent is like, oh, man, I shouldn't have had him. Rob Reiner got killed. Rob Reiner and his wife got murdered by their son. And at that moment, just prior to the murder, because there's probably a moment where you realize, oh, I'm going to get murdered. Rob Reiner and his wife are probably like, oh, man, we shouldn't have done this, because now look at us. It's terrible. Take a break, come back. Talk to Linda on the other side. I'm going to read you this Barack Obama, Michelle Obama article where she says, he's not president anymore. Leave him alone. I don't want him to be out there traveling the country campaigning for Democrats in the midterm election. He's my husband. That's so selfish. If I ever married a woman that was president of the United States, do you think that I would ever, she don't even got to be president of the United States. I wouldn't tell my wife that she can't go and travel and do good things because I just want her with me. In fact, I might encourage her to travel. Oh, where are you going? You're going to New York. That's wonderful. How long are you going? 3 days. How about I pay for you to stay 3 more days? Make it 6. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Join March for Babies to improve the health of families. The U.S. is among the most dangerous nations for childbirth. With your help, we can tackle America's maternal and infant health crisis. Join us in Milwaukee on May 16th at 9 a.m. at Greenfield Park in West Dallas for this powerful community event. Connect with families, friends, and coworkers while raising critical funds. Every step counts. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org.
Outfitting your team? Planning an event? That's a whole lot of moving pieces, and your custom apparel shouldn't be one of the headaches. At Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more, you get more than just printed shirts. You get a local partner who helps you design it, order it, and gives you the confidence that will all come together on time. From team gear to company events, no job is too big. Big Frog delivers quality, guidance, and a smooth experience from start to finish. Skip the guesswork. Go local. Come see us in Mequon or just jump online. bigfrog.com/Mequon.
Honest, direct, and always thought-provoking.
Even if the system don't make sense anymore. And that's the part we got to be honest about. Education is not a theory. It's not a title. It's not a category. It's a student, it's a teacher, it's a classroom, and there's learning. Everything, everybody else, including the superintendent herself, are secondary. Assistant superintendents, or whatever the heck you call them, deputy, chief of school, everybody, they are secondary if a child's not learning. The student is the number one thing there. So if we've reached the point where the only way to defend the system is to argue that keeping teachers out of a classroom is essential to education, then we're not just confused. We backwards. And when policy, practice, priorities, and money collide like that, there's only one word for all of this: nonsensical.
Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris, weekdays from 4 to 6, live on YouTube and broadcasting on 1017 The Truth.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hello, Linda.
Good morning, Professor.
And good morning to all the beautiful, good-hearted black and white people of Milwaukee.
Why you leave out
America.
Asians and the Latinos?
Huh?
You leave out a whole bunch of other.
I believe that they're in the lineup. Okay, I'm
All
just
right.
going from from brown to white, and they're in between. But Sherwin,
What?
I guess I'm just really like everybody else, getting a lot of anxiety, and so I kind of push away from news because I get, sad and depressed, and sometimes I cry for the single mothers with children and the, Trump economics that's affecting us all, and people. It's starting to affect even McDonald's and Wendy's, who is complaining now that their business is slowing down. So, in having said that, I guess it's called affordability now. But, when it comes down to a single mother with children trying to pay rent and rent being astronomical, I feel really bad. But I'm just hoping, praying that, all the praying warriors will, send prayers out into the universe for real, because this madness has to stop. And I was wondering, what do you think about the counter lawsuit to this Civil Rights Act reversal? I'm really investing. I mean, I'm even sending donations to the Justice because we have to, have some type of civility. And I really think that, the attack that this white supremacy ideology has, done to take over the progress of America going forward, it just, it's affecting people mentally, socially. But yeah, what is your take on this counter lawsuit with this civil rights reversal? I think that it's a win. I'm really hoping.
Which state
that
are you
it
talking
is.
about? Because every state that has re-gerrymandered their districts based upon the recent Supreme Court decision, a whole bunch of people and organizations and Democratic parties and ACLU are suing. And before I get into the details of that, Linda, if consuming the news pushes you so far to where you get anxiety and depression, then you got to stop looking at what's happening in other places. I believe the people in Tennessee and the people in Louisiana who are going to fight for justice know best how to do that through the legal means available to them. I live in a city called Milwaukee where somebody is going to get shot this weekend, where people are going to be displaced from their homes this weekend. And so if you want to, I guess, be focused, because if you look at all of the things that are happening, Linda, you're going to literally drive yourself absolutely nuts. So for me to comment, Linda, hold on, you asked me a question, and then you interrupted me. I want to explain something to you. Okay. If you are being overwhelmed by taking it all in, maybe put your focus where we live, because there's enough work and attention that needs to be paid here, instead of looking and wondering and donating what is going to happen in another state where you don't live, you don't vote, and you don't pay taxes. Is it horrendous? Is it a shame? Yes. Were we told they were going to do this? Absolutely. Did Donald Trump win the election anyway? 100%. So there's not a whole heck of a lot we can do. Maybe the courts do some reversals, or maybe in 2030, when we take a new census and we draw all new legislative maps, there's an opportunity that those maps will be fair. So all we can do, for the most part, if you're concerned about what's happening somewhere else, just wait. At the same time, trust the people that are directly impacted by those changes, instead of us trying to give our opinion. Because if you ask the people in Tennessee if they want help from folks in Milwaukee, they'll say, nah, y'all need to worry about your data centers and what's going on in your community. So it'll be all right, Leonard. Don't worry about it.
Well, this is the United States. So, and that I just feel like what affects one Black community definitely will affect all. And I understand what you're saying. That's why I am working on things here in Milwaukee to, come back our failing school district and the lack of quality education for our young people. And that's why I'm pursuing, education advocacy with the early childhood education and WICA, for real.
Good. Sounds like you got some focus. Good. You're doing fine.
Yeah, but it's just, but those, every now and then I do get depressed. But I have been pushing away from the news, but it just seems like every time you look at something, it's always something horrible. You know, I see the North Milwaukee news that comes up on my email, and it talks about, you know, the crime in Milwaukee. You know, I mean, really, it just, yes, you can get carried away going down that rabbit hole, but this is the community we live in, too. So it's like we can't escape the reality that we live in, but, yes, we need to do something to protect our mental health for real.
Linda, you can choose
you.
to tune out, but appreciate your call. That's probably a very common thing. People inundate themselves with everything that is happening everywhere, and it can be overwhelming. Let me also push back on something she said. We want our black communities to all be connected. No, the hell we're not. Black folks in different parts of the country, in different cities and different states, have different opportunities, have different outcomes, have different elected officials, have different state budgets, city budgets, different programs. I'm not going to connect myself with a community I've never been to and don't know anything about. And sometimes we make the mistake of thinking that, oh, I'm black, let me go over to this place in this city and help them. They didn't ask for us to come. I don't know if you all remember, but I pushed back huge on us going down to Kenosha when Jacob Blake got shot. No one invited you to help Kenosha people with an issue that they very much had handled, because here's what happens. You have an incident in a community, and it shakes that community up, and it rocks that community. And we think, oh, we need to go down there and help. And all we're doing is adding more chaos, more confusion. Nobody asked us to come. I trust people. Here's one thing I will say about black folks. I trust the black people in whatever city, whatever town, that they have the experience and the knowledge to deal with what is happening in their town instead of us. Because Milwaukee people ain't credible in fixing nothing. We're not on the short list of, oh, no, we had an officer-involved shooting here in Little Rock, Arkansas. Oh, we need help. Let's call somebody from Milwaukee. They'll be able to help. And thinking that we have to. So a lot of times I think people, they look at what's happening somewhere else because they don't want to deal with what's happening at home. If you have time, effort, and energy to want to make the world better, I'd say start within your own family. But a lot of folks don't want to do that. Like, oh, no, I see black people are struggling in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Let me write a check to an organization there. A black kid in Milwaukee is much more likely to blow your brains out and steal your car. Maybe consider writing that check to a local organization that does youth work. Just saying. I didn't talk about the damn Obama story. President Donald Trump has been dividing American families ever since he came down the golden escalator in Trump Tower to launch his winning 2016 campaign, but few would have imagined the Obamas would be among them. Well, guess again, former President Barack Obama made headlines recently when he told The New Yorker that the pressure on him to campaign for fellow Democrats against Trump and MAGA ahead of November's high-stakes midterm elections was creating, quote, genuine tension in our household, because former First Lady Michelle Obama wants to see her husband easing up and spending more time with her. Michelle. Baby. Michelle. Can you please let Barack Obama help Democrats get elected around the country? Because if Barack Obama doesn't, because you want to spend more time with him, and the Democrats don't win a majority in the House of Representatives or the U.S. Senate because the amount of money that Barack Obama can raise or the number of people that Barack Obama can help register to vote going to these different cities and towns and being involved and getting those folks out to vote, the fate of the world could potentially be in the hands of what your husband can't control. We'll give him back. You can have him after he was president of the United States. The good that he can do to help this nation. I'm sorry, Michelle, it supersedes your marriage. You only voted for Barack Obama twice. He got millions of votes. You only voted for him in 2008 and 2012. He still owes a debt of gratitude to all of the people that voted for him. We voted for him because we knew that long term, he would be of tremendous value to this democracy. Plus, I want more black boys to go to a Barack Obama rally. I want more black girls to see the former president of the United States command a crowd and influence people and make people so overwhelmed with joy in some of the worst times America has ever been through. I want people to feel the electricity of being in the same room with Barack Obama. Michelle says, no, he's my husband. We'll give him back. But he's got a job to do. And I know it's got to be tough for you, Michelle, but he bestowed upon you the highest honor that any black woman has ever had, and that's First Lady of the United States. I think that she owes us, Michelle, you owe us him for the sake of this democracy, for the sake of inspiring the next black president. Because if some of these black people and black children don't see Barack Obama coming to their city, coming to their town, and firing up voters and registering people to vote because they're going to do a huge voter registration drive based on the Barack Obama visit, you could be selling us short in our future because I need black children to see him so they can feel inspired, so they can change their trajectory, so they can see policy making as a possible future for them. They might want to run for Congress because they're so inspired by Barack Obama, but we need him to be out there, and now is the time to do it because the fate of the world is in the balance. I'm going to take a break, come back. Remember, I'm not here next week as I'm taking my remaining vacation days as a Good Karma Brands employee. I'll be broadcasting from my YouTube channel, which is Hughes Views 414. Go at it. And I'll be back in this studio at the same time on Tuesday, May 26th. Still on 101.7, still the same YouTube, everything the same. You're just not going to see me here next week. I'm taking a little vacation. Got to take a little vacation. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. All your favorite interviews and best moments live in one place.
I love your perspective, Sherwin.
Thank you.
You do a great job.
Appreciate
you do a great job. I downloaded the app so I can listen to you in the evening sometimes because you make a great difference in how you present things in many ways, politically, socially, financially. You do a great job.
Download the new 1017 The Truth app now. Milwaukee Black Talk. 1017 The Truth.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your family's tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
In Milwaukee County, equity means making sure everyone has a real chance to thrive. That's why the Milwaukee County Office of Equity works to help remove barriers, strengthen community connections, and support fair access to opportunities across Milwaukee County. Want to learn what they do, explore resources, or find ways to get involved? Just search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online. Milwaukee County Office of Equity, advancing equity for all Milwaukee County residents. For more information, search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online.
Natural gas is a clean, reliable, and convenient source of energy delivered directly to you through underground pipelines. The pipeline system has an excellent safety record, but there are clues that can help you identify a potential hazard. If you smell the strong odor of rotten eggs, hear an unusual hissing sound, or see blowing dirt or debris, it could be a natural gas leak. Leave the area immediately and call We Energies at 800-261-5325.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
Gruber Law Office. One call, that's all.
One call, that's all.
One call, that's all. One call, that's all.
One call, that's all.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
One call, that's all.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Where is this comment? I gotta find it. Somebody said, here, is this it? No. Kamala Harris warned about this. Hillary did as well. The voters did not listen. So Barack, thank you. Stay home. Our people cannot be sacrificing themselves in this nation. Yes, they can. You want to know why we hate the baby boomers so much? Because they didn't do more. They should have did more to prevent where we're at right now. They set a really weird political tone. Everybody has an obligation. I don't know why y'all think this democracy is free. You got to invest in it. You got to invest your time in it. Otherwise, this Trump stuff, now I'm starting to understand how this is happening. So the thing with Michelle, and I get it, like she wants her husband to herself, but why do women not understand this? You want the best man you can possibly get. You got to understand, your man going to be busy. You like him because of his work ethic, because of his ambition and the impact that he can have, right? How he can positively influence lives. You don't get to take that away from him, because if he was lazy and just wanted to stay home and be up under Michelle all the time, then she wouldn't want him. Don't you got something to do? Don't you got other hobbies? But because he is booked and busy, isn't that part of a man's appeal? Because if Barack Obama was not wanted nor needed out in this country campaigning and helping Democrats, his party, a party that supported him, I think he also owes them the favor in kind. But if we get to a point where Barack Obama is no longer needed, Michelle would stop seeing interest in him. It's the fact that he is booked and busy and is needed by, 300 million people. A woman may love a man because he is so incredibly hardworking and he's very successful and he's very accomplished. But then when she finally gets him and she marries him, now she wants him to stop all of the things that she admired him for in the first place. Make sense. The caller, you're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
I'm doing great. I was calling just to say hello, but for a moment I thought Michelle Obama was in the studio the way that you were speaking.
She probably feels about me like I feel about Roland Martin.
Well, you said, that's a whole other thing. The word when it comes to President Obama and this country, at this point, he would probably be risking his life more than ever to be in public more than he is. He has been highly visible, I'm sure we'll agree, as a vice president and spoken out against this regime. But maybe she's trying to make sure her husband isn't a victim of this craziness that's going on. And we both know that it would definitely not be worth her sitting and crying like Coretta Scott King to try to fix what we could have fixed by voting more. And so that's my stance on it. I would rather see him do interviews as he's done. And it's up to parents to teach their young up-and-coming president to pay attention to the content that is out there that is very safe, and at the same time, President Obama still, at many times, is at rallies and doing what he does, probably against her wishes. So, when it comes down to it, she would be the person most hurt if something, God forbid, would happen to him. So I don't think we have a right to say to that couple who's given us so much already.
All right, thank you.
Enjoy your vacation, though. I called to tell you to enjoy your vacation, but you won't hear complaining about Michelle Obama and her relationship. You just unwind, relax. And I want to tell you a joke about you. Earlier today, you said something about getting a new boss, right?
Yeah.
Spell boss backwards. This is a Red Fox joke. I never call a manager of mine boss.
SSOB.
That means, so Red Fox had a joke where he said that would mean you two of them. So if you like the person who's your manager, never call them boss. And enjoy your vacation, man. Hope you get you some exercise and come back energized and
okay.
Doing your thing, bro.
All right then. Now, thank you very much. Where do I even begin to unpack that in 50 seconds? Because this is all just like speculation. Maybe y'all are missing the bigger picture, or at least the people I'm trying to explain this to aren't getting it. If the nation needs inspiration that Barack Obama can provide, then I don't know if it's fair for the former First Lady to say no. It's clear she is not willing, because her life is sweet and soft. What I'm hearing from Michelle, she don't care about none of y'all. She doesn't care about how her husband can be an inspiration. And I agree with the caller to some extent. Oh, it's the parents' responsibility. But some parents need that inspiration as well. Remember, I'm not here next week. I will be back on Tuesday, May 26th. Until then, find me on Hughes Views 414 via YouTube. Bye-bye.
Come in with straight truth.
If you acted up, if you were out here doing any kind of foolishness or just something that people know would make your family's name look bad, your neighbor from down the street, if they see the son or daughter, be like, what are you doing? They gonna call you out. They gonna let you know that they saw you. And then they gonna tell you, come here. Now, you know I'm gonna tell your daddy.
That part.
There are a lot of times when people are new to an area, they don't know where to plug in. And anybody who plugs in the 101.7 The Truth and listen to you and Dame and Truth Nation would know that there is a significant public outcry when violence happens in our community. Don't worry about the outcry if you're not listening to the right people. So I would encourage her to tune in to 101.7 The Truth and listen to you guys, Denise Thomas, Dr. Ken Harris, Tori Lowe, and definitely Sherwin Hughes every day.
Watch all your favorite 101.7 The Truth shows by subscribing to 101.7 The Truth on YouTube.
People don't realize that glaucoma is one of the leading causes of blindness.
Because there are often no early symptoms, nearly half of those with glaucoma may not even know they have it until vision loss has occurred.
I was diagnosed with normal tension glaucoma in July of 2020. And what we found out at that point was I had already lost 40% of my sight. And you think it only affects people that are, 75 or older, retired, grandparents, and that's not the reality of it.
I didn't think at all glaucoma was going to affect me because I didn't know of anyone that had glaucoma, no one in my family. When you have glaucoma, you can't get back that sight that you lost. And so early detection and treatment is vitally, vitally important.
Don't miss life's most beautiful moments. Schedule an eye exam today.
National Glaucoma Research, a bright, focused foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Learn how to protect your sight at stopglaucoma.org.
I take care of the kids, and I take care of my dad. I take care of things at work.